nice to join us. Nice to join us, Lleyton Hewitt and Roger Federer. We're going to have a fireside chat, and all will be revealed. I teed this up with Lleyton earlier on, and his idea is that he's going to give you some inside information on where it all began and how it all began between you two and Junior Wimbledon and all that. But before that, what are your thoughts on what you just played and the new format?
For me?
Yep.
All right. I thought it was very interesting. Definitely fast pace. The course keeps on moving. There's never a quiet moment, and you need to concentrate. For me, with the let, I always had to remind myself before each serve, and still I forgot sometimes. But I thought it was very exciting. I definitely see a future in the junior game, at least. It's already happening now, and trying to promote the game, of course, and hope that more kids pick up a tennis racket and play tennis. And I mean, in terms of the rules, who knows where it's going to go, but the rules have been there for a very long time, and this was definitely something different, exciting, I thought. I don't know what you guys thought, but definitely something special.
I think they liked it. Lleyton, your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously there's so many pressure points as well, because it is such a tight format out there, and you know, like in the fourth set, if you go down an early break in that set, the set's nearly over. So straight away, the second time you're serving to try and stay in a set, which is unusual obviously for us. So, obviously with the no ad scoring as well, there's a lot of pressure points where, you know, you have to try and make a first serve on those points to sort of stay in top and try and hold your service games.
Okay, so let's go down memory lane a little bit. 18 years ago, back in Switzerland, both of you guys are playing Junior Davis Cup. Lleyton for Australia, you for Switzerland. The very first day the draw came out, Switzerland versus Australia. You two get to play for the first time. But what's your recollection of that match? Can you remember who won that match?
I have a very vivid recollection of that match. Lleyton seemed to have forgotten this one. We talked about it last week. I actually won saving match point, so that's how it all started between Lleyton and me.
But he only told me last week that my actual ball that I hit lob on match point was in. So I should have won.
I do remember you complaining to the umpire quite a lot during that match.
Darren was my actual, he was our team manager for Australia in our team, and Roger obviously was coached by Peter Carter, who was an Australian as well. So we had a great friendship there, and you know, obviously we'd heard a lot about each other before that match as well. But that was definitely the beginning, playing in Roger's home country.
It's good to see that you got over it, Lleyton.
Well, I had until last week when we were at a function and Roger brought it up, which was nice.
Now, it's time to get square. We've got some lovely vision here of Roger when he was first starting to play relatively good tennis. You feel free to say whatever you want when you see this vision. This was Roger in his early days, and obviously we're going to have a check it out and just see whether we're seeing this sort of championship qualities that we've seen over the years. We're waiting for that vision to come up.
I think also we see a little bit of Peter Carter out here as well. There's Peter Carter actually sitting next to you, Roger. Talk us through this vision.
Yeah, I mean, this was a 3-2 in the second set. No. Yeah, there's the weak backhand, you know, just trying to push in. This is my buddy who won just Davis Cup with me, Marco Giudinelli. We played against each other at the Swiss Championships, and I used to complain a lot, and as you can see, it was like this little weak kid, you know, with a pretty good forehand. I was already shanking the ball then, and I still do today.
Dare to dream at such a young age to you both. When I first saw you at Wimbledon playing doubles together as junior doubles, and it was terrific, and I thought, who knows where this is going to end? What did you dare to dream, you two young guys, in the early formative stages of your career? Dare to dream.
Well, we obviously dreamt of one day just playing at Wimbledon. We were fortunate enough as teenagers to be given that opportunity to play at the All England Club, and I know growing up obviously in Australia we've had so many great past champions that have won there and played so well over there in years before me, and I dreamt of just being out there playing once, let alone, you know, obviously holding up the gold trophy, and I'm sure that was Roger's dream as a young kid, going to Wimbledon, and you get goosebumps just walking into a place like that. And you know, our doubles, the first ever doubles match I played at Wimbledon was with Roger. Yeah. We ended up playing pretty well and won a few matches and lost to Jonas Bjorkman and Pat Raft, the 7-5 in the fifth set. So.
Yeah.
How much do you feel like both of you really helped each other? Because Lleyton sort of came through a bit earlier. He had Grand Slam success before you. And then when you took over, you really took over. You didn't leave it for anybody. You were very, very selfish, by the way.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I had a great group of guys in front of me. Him and Murat Safin, Roddick as well. They were all world #1 before me and Grand Slam champions, I think, before me. Maybe not Andy. Maybe he won the US Open after me. Ferrero as well, exactly. But I think Lleyton led the way there, and you know, he was trying to push out the older guys, Agassi and Sampras and Moya and Henman and all those guys. It was very interesting. And for me, definitely, I saw how great Lleyton was at a young age. When I was playing the juniors, he was already winning Adelaide, and we were supposed to play doubles together in the juniors and at the Australian Open in the juniors. And then he said, sorry, I'm going to play wildcard main draw, singles, doubles, and mixed while you play juniors. So he didn't say it this way. He didn't say it this way. But I thought that was so inspiring, really, for him to make the break, and it made me believe that if Lleyton can do it, maybe I can also follow in his footsteps to some extent, and you know, also push forward and get inspired by him.
You made a great comment there about trying to push out the old guys from that generation with you two guys coming through, but you're kind of one of the old guys now, and players are trying to push you out.
Very, very old.
How do you feel about that? How do you get yourself up for that challenge?
You don't think about it. You hope you feel okay in the morning when you wake up. And I mean, honestly, as long as you're enjoying yourself on tour, that the travel is not a grind, that the packing is okay, that life on tour is actually a lot of fun with the kids, with latent practice, with you name it, you know, the dinners you have with your friends and family and your wife. It's fun. And then it doesn't almost matter who you play. I am nostalgic. I love playing the guys of my generation. I miss the guys who we pushed out, actually. It's not, to be quite honest.
That you ran over.
Yeah, they're playing the young guys. It's different. It is very different. And I know it might be very special for them playing against, you know, the older guys. That's why I'm happy to stay in the game and let them speed me up a bit.
Do you relive the moments? I mean, do you have lots of copies of the great moments you've had in tennis, your junior moments, your senior moments, the moments weren't so good? Do you keep a good library of those sort of things to remind you where you've been and how you've got through?
Well, in our head, for sure. Yeah, obviously this was you know, some of the best tennis. Roger obviously playing Rafa at Wimbledon. They played some epic finals over the years, and you can see, you know, how much it means. Roger's obviously won Wimbledon so many times, but every time you step out there, it's an amazing feeling. Bjorn Borg watching, you know, and I know it's Roger's favourite tournament, but up there with, you know, the Australian Open and Wimbledon for me.
But do you relive them? Do you go to Cruz and say, Cruz, look at this is when Dad was doing this?
No.
You don't do that yet?
No, not yet. But no, I obviously love walking in there and just showing him the trophy, and you know that Dad's name's on the board, and you know, I was fortunate enough to actually walk out onto centre court before the championships last year and have a couple of photos with the kids out there, and it's kind of like sacred turf out there. No one's allowed out, so it was pretty special for me.
Well, let's talk about that, because you two guys are very busy guys. 7 children between you. Firstly, where do you find the time? How do you travel with 7 children? Because that's a lot of luggage.
Well, I thought I had him covered in that, and then he goes out and gets twins. And not one lot, he gets 2.
He got over his shyness quickly, didn't he?
But the biggest question is, like, we're kind of going for a football team here or something, but are we done at 7?
Well, you go.
Well, we're young, right? So.
Yeah, well, I think they keep you young as well.
Yeah.
You know, obviously a lot of running around, and I think the answer is having great wives. Yeah. It makes our life so much easier to go out there and, you know, for us to still be able to go out and concentrate on the court. But you know, everyone sees us go on the court, but there's so much hard work that goes in behind the scenes that, you know, a lot of people don't realise.
There is a lesson in life, I often think, with sport. You have your triumphs in front of millions, and there's one of your triumphs there, Lleyton. That's a major triumph.
Nice. She's way too good for you as well.
I look all right in that, don't I?
I mean, this is all lovely stuff, but your major triumphs in front of millions, and beautiful shots, but also then you have your losses in front of millions. And I guess it's the measure of the man, the measure of the quality that you are, that you put those behind you. And I think that's a good life lesson for anybody watching you guys at that level.
I'm not sure if I understood the question, but I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to answer.
I just think that your losses and your triumphs in front of millions, you still regroup and come back. Is that easy enough?
Yes.
Thank you, Roger.
No, because I was trying to think of a match that, you know, hurt me as of late.
You couldn't come up with one. That's a problem. That is a real problem. That's what happens if you have 1,000 wins.
No, let me tell you. I was like, this is a very good question at the right time because.
All right, now it's a good question.
On Friday at Davis Cup, I played Gael Monfils, and it was a record crowd, 27,000 people. I've never been in a stadium before, and I got trashed in 3 sets. I thought that was a very nice experience in front of a record crowd. So, you know, what I like about sports or in tennis, you know right away if you did well or if you didn't do well.
Yeah.
Because you can go back into the locker room, to the drawing board, and you can come up with a future game plan. We know where we're at right after the match because you guys let us know if you liked it or not, and that is a nice thing as a sportsman.
Going to ask both of you. Yeah, great answer too, by the way. Winning major titles, very special for both of you. Playing Davis Cup for your country, just as special. Here in Australia, we have such a great tradition, and we've seen some amazing champions, even the last couple of days. Ken Rosewall here tonight. We saw Roy Emerson and Rod Laver up in Brisbane. You had a chance to meet with them yesterday. You have to pick one moment, one result, one moment, one piece of time in your whole career. What do you take?
As to relive again?
Yeah.
It was probably maybe the Roddick match, 16-14 in the 5th, and I was going for 15 maybe, and Bjorn Borg was sitting there, John McEnroe was sitting there, Pete Sampras was sitting there, and it was Rod Laver was sitting there. I was like, oh, this is too good to be true. Don't lose, please, you know, and it was this epic fairy tale moment. I didn't break all match. Yeah, I didn't break all match till the very last game, and God, I got so lucky at the end. So I guess that one, why not?
Lleyton?
It's hard. Obviously, I would say beating Pete Sampras in the final of the US Open, purely because it was my first Grand Slam final. I walked onto the court and had idolised a guy like Pete Sampras my whole career growing up as a junior, and Ivan Lendl was actually out in the court to toss the coin before the match, and I'm there standing next to Pete Sampras that I'm about to play on Ivan Lendl, and it felt surreal for me just to be out there on the same court as those two.
And you had lost to Pete Sampras the year before at the US Open.
Yeah, I lost in the semi-final in straight sets. It was a tight match, but straight sets, and to come out and play the kind of tennis that I played for 3 sets, you know, under that kind of pressure, even though I was the underdog going into the final, yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Well done.
And the nice thing about the success you've had is that you're very, very busy off the track, off the court, in charities and so forth. You're heavily involved in so many. Once again, we've got one here tonight, Tennis Care, which is a terrific charity, and is going to encourage kids out there to get healthy, active, and all that sort of stuff. We want to encourage the kids to get involved with tennis at this level. It's just brilliant. And there you are. That's the details there on the screen. The Credit Suisse presents the One Night with Federer Hewitt, and there you are, 0437 371 371. And we'd like to thank them very, very much, you two guys. We know you do a lot of charity work. It's dear to your heart. And thank you very much for the entertainment and the gift of joy that you've given us over the years, and may it continue. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Federer and Lleyton Hewitt. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.